Welcome to the Phil Davidson Show. The former Vietnam veteran and currently practicing attorney Phil Davidson presents entertaining guests and short features from his novel Dreamer. And now, here is Phil Davidson.
Today I want to get into some themes that are found in the book and generally discuss these with you and see maybe if you have some of the same feelings I do, some of the same concepts. One of the themes that's in the book Dreamer, and it's really an undertone that's there throughout the entire book, is the existence of God. Do you believe that God has a plan for everyone? I do. And my book Dreamer is really about how God intervenes in the lives of people to bring them once again into his world of light and away from darkness. In Dreamer, you'll see, as you read it, that it was God's hand that kept David from executing one of his men in the jungle in Vietnam. God had a plan for that man. His name was Jude, and you'll see what that plan was. It was also God's hand that spared David from being captured by the Viet Cong when the rest of his team was ambushed. And it was God's hand that saved his team from the Viet Cong while they were being captured and interrogated in the dark Cambodian mountain, Nui O. David, like King David in the Bible, is a murderer, a lecherer, and a failed leader. But as his wife Sonny told him, he was a man of God's own heart. Why did God love King David so much? Why did God love David so much? David had certainly abandoned God in his life. No question about that. And so the book goes into detail, I think, and leaves a lot of questions there as to who God cares about and why he cares about all of us. For instance, there are several characters in the book that you would think that God would care nothing about. Why did God still love Father Perez? Certainly Father Perez has abandoned him a long time ago. Father Perez loved learning, intellectual things, and women. Why did God still love Captain Alvarez? Alvarez was a murderer, a torturer, a killer of priests. Certainly, as head of the Argentine protective unit, he had no fear of God. This is really what a lot of the novel is about. There should be, in these things, you read a revelation about how God intervenes in men's life. Contained in the book, though, is a conflict, a terrible war that's fought out over a string of islands in the South Atlantic, the Falklands. This war ensnares David, Father Perez, David's old team, and many other people, including the countries of Argentina, England, and America in the book. Throughout the Dreamer are interwoven scenes from the Falkland War. As events unfold with David and his team, these events are shown so the reader can keep a pace with what is historically going on. As you read about through the novel, you'll see David and Sonny and the others, and you'll see that they have a sense of what's happening, and you will have a sense of what's happening in Argentina at the time.
You have been listening to the Phil Davidson Show. For questions or comments about today's program, you may visit Phil on his website, dreamernoveltalk.com. That's dreamernoveltalk.com. His Blog Talk Radio address is blogtalkradio.com/Phil Davidson. Thank you so much for joining us this week on the program, and we look forward to seeing you next time on the Phil Davidson Show.